Well, here's an article from the New York Times. It's actually an opinion piece by an author who really came out with a book that's really interesting. And he's a big shot, hot shot egghead. The book is called The Happiness Curve, Why Life Gets Better After 50. Well, I'm 75, man. I can attest that it really is better as I get older anyway. I mean, we all have different lives. No one could really tell somebody else what to do with their life because we're all struggling. We don't know what the hell we're doing. But this article is interesting, but he talked about happiness economics. There's an academic discipline called happiness economics. And why the heck people are or not happy. And so he digs into that aspect of what's going on, and particularly our country or the world. So the World Bank data show that the world's population that is living on just 1.90 $1.90 a day has gone down to just 10% from 44%. So in 1980, 44% of the population lived on, this is the world, you may think it's US, it's the world, 44% lived on $1.90 a day. Now that's down to 10%, okay? So why is everybody, complaining about world poverty? Well, yeah, we're doing pretty well if you look at that GDP number. So the biggest amount of money, that's called, usually the economists call that GDP, and that's what the presidents brag about. Look at our economy grew. Yeah, but we're still unhappy. So what the hell's going on? And also, according to the Brookings Institute, that's another think tank in here, and the liberal bent, but they say poor whites are far more unhappy and pessimistic than poor blacks, even though in absolute terms they are better off. So poor whites, their income supposedly is going up, but they're still not as happy as poor blacks. And that would make sense if absolute standing were determined. But it does not make sense, however, when we look at the relative standing. See, and this is why I think, the voting happened the way it did in the last election. Less educated white, especially men, have seen their relative standing decline sharply. So the average white, working class man, they went down. The whole economy is growing, but their income went down, both compared with their parents and with non-whites. So they're making less money than their parents, and it also went down, for non-whites. Blacks, by contrast, see themselves as doing better. So their income increased when the others decreased, but the whites are still higher. So, but it's all relative. So it's right. So what's really bad? Absolute standing is not irrelevant, and people will tolerate and sometimes even embrace inequality if they believe the system is fair and lets them get ahead. See, and that's, I think, the big issue is fairness. I mean, people go in and rig the system on Capitol Hill and get a whole bunch of the money that we all worked about for. Yeah, that doesn't seem played. So places in the United States with more inequality have higher stress and worry, more political polarizations, and lower social connectedness, even among the wealthy. So I think this, the income inequality stuff makes us all, fight each other a little more. Today, a free market conservative, now he's talking about politics here, he says the conservatives, free market people don't have an answer to this inequality. They have neither a coherent program to reduce inequality nor a philosophical rationale to seek one. Inequality drives politics towards rage and polarization, and towards destabilization and dangerous populism on both sides of the left. So that's why we're getting more spread out, right? We got Trumpism and Sanderism on the other side, because of this. So, I mean, our economy keeps growing. So GDP, listen to this, real per capita income has more than tripled since the 50s, but the percentage of people saying they are happy has declined. So our overall GDP, that's what the Politicians like the count. Oh, we're growing. Yeah, but who? And I think that's heavy. That's why I put up something you may be interested now. It's called free.lesko.com /fun money. And if you go to that website, you'll see a video there. I talked to you about, I did a mentoring for somebody who was a member, and I taped it for other people to see, because it's a way to show, to make money in life doing something that you think is important, and to touch more with your inside. So you're not doing stuff just if you're just counting money, and we all need money, to survive and take care of ourselves, and that's important. But the trick to me is now, how do you marriage those two things so that you're getting up and contributing to something that you believe in, and you have a satisfaction of doing, instead of just making money, but you do it both, and that's tricky and takes some work. But that's what I talk about. But I think now it's easier in our history of at least America. That's the only thing I really know, to do something like that. And I go over that, and it doesn't take money to do. So you may be interested in seeing that. And it's www.free.lesko.com /fun money. So you want to make money? So how do you have fun doing? Because if you're having fun, you're winning every day. You don't have to wait for some big payoff 5 years from now. You're getting up and can't wait to do it, man. You're having fun already.